there has to be some honesty on this panel on a basic question. Have private, unaided institutions which make money come up as a result of the vacuum created by the poor quality of education given by government?
Absolutely.
Or the vacuum created because the government has abdicated its role?
Yes.
It's the abdication. It is the abdication, not the
The
poor
same
quality.
government which set up IITs and IIMs and ITIs today has abdicated its role.
Let me answer
Today,
that
therefore, the
question with
question
another
is why
question.
in post-reforms India, when our economy is booming, when we are investing in science, when we are putting up satellites, why have we given up on
It's such a
education?
Sir, I'll
shame-
answer that question with
it's such a
another
shame
question.
in India to
What-
talk
what-
about IITs and IIMs catering to 1,000 students when millions of students require education. It's such a
I'll answer
shame.
that question
Talking
with
about
another
the
question.
That's the tagline of your institution.
That's
right.
Talking
Tagline
about
of
two
your-
institutions which are also dilapidated.
Professor Sadgopal wants to rebut you, and he will now. Yes, please, go
I am
ahead.
addressing myself to the students sitting here. You must have heard of a small country called Finland, which made the Nokia.
Yeah.
I'll present that question to you. Finland had a very poor education system in 60s. Today it has the best education system of the world. What made the difference?
Yes.
Here are 26 amazing facts about Finland education system. I've downloaded it last night. It says the first step they took was to declare the entire education system, including school and colleges, will be 100% state funded.
State funded.
100% state funded. There is no private university or private school to be allowed.
Yeah.
Let me complete. It
Continue.
also decided all children, so-called clever or not, will be taught in the same classrooms irrespective of the social and economic background. It decided the difference between weakest and strongest student will be the smallest in the world, and today it is smallest in the world. It decided the science classes will be capped at 16 so that every child can do experiments and be involved in practicals. It decided all teachers in Finland must have a master's degree, fully trained, and their master degree program should be fully subsidized. They decided teachers shall be selected from the top 10% graduates. And today, the high school teachers with 15 years of experience in teaching in Finland make 102% of what any other college graduate can make in Finland.
Sir,
They have the same
What is
status.
your point? What is your basic point?
My point is, why
that?
can't Arindam,
India is in
why
Finland,
my
that's
question
the
is,
problem.
why can't you and we work together to persuade, to compel the government of India and the state government to go that way, like the way of the Finland? What is stopping us from building
about that vacuum for a second.
Sir, allow me my question to students. What is stopping us, my dear students, from building up a national movement to compel the government to learn from Finland?
भाई साहब एक सवाल पूछ सकता हूँ. What is the population of Finland?
Doesn't make any. We have the resources.
आप जो कह रहे
Oh my God! My God! My God! What a question!
Let them debate it out.
What you're saying?
We have 32 states.
Sir, wait a minute, sir. Let me
My
finish.
gosh,
Sir, what you're
population, what is the
saying?
GDP of this
What you're
country?
saying, sir, what
Professor,
you're
let him
saying to
complete
achieve
and I'll
that
come to you straight.
Sir, what you're saying to achieve that entire budget, entire budget. आप क्या कहाँ पे बैठे हैं साहब?
What is GDP of India?
खाया जाएगा इसमें.
तो क्या हो गया?
My gosh!
You'll be investing in your next generation.
I so wish that the government was taking care of
Thank you.
this country's education.
I know you're on my side.
Go together for this.
I know Arindam is with me. I know Arindam is with me. I know.
I'm with you on
I know.
this. I'm with you on this. The government cannot abdicate its responsibility because only governments and public funding can do the job.
I think we have.
I'm not going to wait. We waited 5 generations. Are we going to wait another 5?
Let's address a very basic question. Basic question is this: poor people go to government institutions, higher educational institutions. Poorer people go to government-aided institutions. Richer people, upper middle class people, those who take loans to go to the institutions, go to private education institutions. Why didn't you answer my question?
Completely wrong, Arnab.
Why didn't you answer my
Completely wrong.
question?
Let me answer your question now.
My question
Now I am
my
answering
question
your
is,
question.
before all this, you're doing a lot of grandstanding here.
Yeah.
My question is, why don't you reserve and say, I earn so much money, 50% of the seats in IIPM will go
Oh,
free
I am
to
not into
reserving
charity.
students.
And
Why you're not into charity?
Absolutely not into charity.
That's the question.
Absolutely not into charity.
But
But
someone
let me
needs to
answer
be-
your question.
Sir, someone needs to be-
Let me answer your question. In
government
the
is-
United States of America, let me answer your question.
Education-
In the
education
United
is-
States
education-
of America, from the richer sections, when they have studied today, I'm talking about today, studies have pointed out that in the colleges, from the richer sections, if 20% of the population is rich. From that, there is a much lesser proportion going to colleges than from the poorer section. And poorer section has a larger representation in colleges because of loans. So you don't need to give charity when you've got access to loans and students can pay it back. Today in my institute,
this is a country, Arindam, 1 minute. This is
80% of students.
Arindam, you tell me someone. Tell me, answer a basic question.
Yes.
I actually get a response from the other side. This country is a country where hundreds of farmers commit suicides.
Absolutely.
A farmer who cannot pay a 1 lakh rupee or a 50,000 rupee loan to survive cannot take a 5 or 10 lakh rupee loan to send his or her child to an education institution. Someone needs to take responsibility for that.
I have a question regarding the vacuum that you mentioned. That look, state institutions have left a vacuum, and hence because of tuitions and whatnot, the poorest of the poor are still left out.
Yeah.
Answer this, sir. How are private institutions filling that vacuum? Because the poorest of the poor is still going neglected. The poorest of the poor can still not get higher education. The poorest of the poor still does not get a basic high school education or a basic primary education. So if your problem is the vacuum, tell me how private institutions are filling that vacuum. Because private institutions have ended up being redundant at best and counterproductive at worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I have 2 points to make. One is to Sir, I feel that you cannot directly copy any country's plan and put it on your plan. That is exactly aping the West. First point. The second point, I don't know, for some reason this debate is really meandering around IIPM. Let us not forget that there are other institutes. There are Tatas, there are Birlas, and there have been traditional institutes which have actually fulfilled what they were supposed to do in lieu with the government. They have actually built trusts and they have actually provided quality education. IIPM, I'm not sure. There are people say a lot about it, but the point remains that let's not focus it only on IIPM. Private education goes beyond IIPM as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of you here have studied from a public school. I mean, most of the people have studied from a private school here. So is that IIPM? If I studied from BITS, is that IIPM? If I study from some private management institute, that is not IIPM. And some of these institutes are fulfilling their agenda.
Can I respond to that? Can I respond?
I wonder if the government is so short of money.
No.
The point is that the government needs help. The government needs help. Arnab, the government does not have the resources or the manpower or the will to actually cater to the population. 600 million odd people. You expect the government to educate people?
I want to raise one issue.
We're getting a response from Professor Madhu. Go ahead, please.
I want you to distinguish between private initiatives in education.
Yes.
Like the earlier phases of the Tatas and the Birlas, these were philanthropic initiatives.
Okay.
These were very motivated by the ideology and the experience of the national movement. These were social responsibility initiatives.
Okay.
What we are discussing today as privatization is profit-taking, commercialization.
I think you're really narrowing down the scope.
You're confusing privatization completely.
No, I think you're really narrowing down the scope there.
Profit-taking and commercialization do not rely on the public sector, on the private sector for social responsibility. They are in fact encouraging the private sector to start businesses in education at the expense of students.
Yes.
And that, to me, as a teacher, is unacceptable. As an educationist, it's unacceptable.
Isn't that
and it cannot be equated with what happened.
Well,
BITS and the Tata Institutes, by the way, were in the initial years of independent India treated as deemed universities.
Question is to the audience,
so probably you need to give the private universities time to reach that stage.
They were fulfilling
I want to
You probably need to give them time. You need to give them time
Universities
to
are going to the
markets.
stock market, taking out money from there and giving the best quality in QS
There's a lot-
ranking, top 20, all our private institutions almost.